everyone, it's Reena Jadhav with the Live Longer podcast and Health Boot Camps. And here we have Liliana Partida. Hey, Liliana.
Hi, Reena.
And you're going to tell us today about the importance of exercising for the weight loss boot camp you're about to start. Tell us a little bit about that.
Okay, well, now one of the things that I always want to be really clear is the diet alone is not going to give you the vitality and or the health and body that you would like to achieve. So it's really important for us to understand that exercise is just like brushing your teeth. You wouldn't skip brushing your teeth, but yet since exercise is so optional, if we can find time to fit it in. And so we really kind of want to look at it as something that we just do on a daily basis, even if really, Reena, it's 15 minutes a day to activate our lymphatic system. Because during any kind of a weight loss protocol, what's inside a fat cell is not only fat, but there's toxins in there. And by stimulating our lymphatic system through exercise, it supports eliminating these toxins through our sweat, which is very, very important. And so, that type of exercise is going to be very important. And of course, we're going to have all different levels in regards to what the capacity is. And so one of the goals is to honor your body and to really kind of say to yourself, what is it that I like to do? And some of you out there might say, I hate exercise. There's nothing I like to do. And I'd say, okay, well then get to nature, right? Do your walking, do your hiking, because I don't know anybody who doesn't like connecting with nature. And of course, that makes it a little bit more difficult because oftentimes that's going to be during the weekends rather than on a day-to-day basis. So again, let's talk a little bit about what type of those exercises may be best for the short period of time that people might have or a longer period of time that they maybe indulge a little bit more.
And Liliana, what are the kinds of exercises that we're going to send them on a daily basis?
Well, one thing that's really important is the large muscle groups, which are your quadriceps, your hamstrings, and your glutes, because these are large muscle groups that impact your metabolism. The more muscle, the more calories you burn effectively, even while you sleep. And so weight training is really important. In fact, the older we get, the less testosterone we have. And so of those of you, I'm 60 years old, and I can tell the difference when I was 40 in regards to just the integrity of the muscle. And so what we want to say is,
Liliana,
yeah,
you're 60 years old.
I am 60. Yeah.
Oh my goodness, you look amazing.
Well, Reena, I practice what I preach, right? So hopefully this will get people motivated to realize that they don't have to have a menopausal pooch just because they go through menopause, or they don't have to have that drapey skin because they've lost all their testosterone, because you can get human growth hormone and you can get levels of testosterone when you do high intensity exercise or weight training. Wow. And so, yeah, so it's pretty awesome when you kind of think about, exercise is something that we think is an option, but if you start to think about it as just even 15 to 20 minutes of something that I do on a daily basis, you'll start getting the endorphins that will make you get up and want to do it rather than it being a chore. And so one of the first things I say is if you haven't engaged in any exercise program, get some tennis shoes and start walking. Now, walking is going to be a low impact exercise, which means that after about, let's just say 10 days, your body's going to adapt and you really aren't going to progress in regards of the muscle integrity. And so you're going to want to start from a flat terrain to doing heel walking up and down heels so that you start to create a little bit more workload on your muscles. Now, again, some of my favorite exercises to do, and we've done videos on them, is the exciser, because that is directly exercise movements that are focusing on your quadriceps, your glutes, and your hamstrings. And so again, not everybody has those types of machines available to you right now. And so again, I would say when we're using the large muscle groups, think of squats, think of lunges, think of step ups. And in the video that I put together, I give you an example of how to do that. So if you kind of think to yourself, 3 sets of everything, 3 sets of lunges, and then maybe I do a plank so I can support the abdominal areas. And then I do 3 sets of squats, and then I go back to a plank, and then I do 3 sets of squat kicks, and then go back to a plank. Well, by the time you know it, you've got a good 15 minutes down or 20 minutes down, and you're just at home. You don't need equipment. You don't need to join a gym. You can just do it on your own. So going for a walk and adding some of those large muscle group movements is very important. The more you impact the muscles, not only for the metabolism, but it holds you in tighter like a girdle. And so again, you're going to lose a lot more body fat when you have when you have more muscle. So again, I tell everyone, start at where you're at, but you want to increase, because walking and aerobic exercise, even, you're only burning calories for 45 minutes longer after you exercise. And when you do weight training, you burn hours more effectively for 6 hours.
Oh, wow.
So I really like weights training. And again, if you don't go to a gym, you can do your squats and lunges and things of that nature to put the load at a little bit of hand weights. And in the video, I've got some hand weights that you can use as well. So you can incorporate those in. Now, I'd like to talk a little bit about HIIT training, and that's high intensity training. So again, I would not suggest this for you if you are a beginner, because it's going to tax the cardiovascular system too much, and you might get a little lightheaded and blood pressure might drop, and you might say, oh, this is terrible, I don't want to do this again. And we want you to have a really positive experience. And so again, it can be just as simple as walking and then running, and then walking and then running. And in the beginning, HIIT training is going all out for, let's just say, 30 seconds, and then walking for maybe, a minute, and then back and forth. But so again, take it at your own speed. And if you're a runner, then you would, jog, and then you would run as fast as you can, like on a track or something, so that you aren't on uneven terrain, or it's not going to impact your shins because you're running on cement. So I would say if they can go to a place where they can, have grass to run on, would probably be a better. But if you've got any issues with, as we get older, I mean, myself, I was an athlete all my life, and I still can do so many things, but my lower back, I can't handle the impact of running, because I used to be a 400-meter track athlete. And so again, I had to turn to low impact but high intensity movements to maintain the integrity of my muscles, and again, to keep my youthful tension in my muscles and also my skin. So I love HIIT training. And so I do the rebounder, and that's going to be very low impact to the skeletal system for if anybody has issues. That's awesome. Now, a lot of people think of the rebounder, because it looks like a trampoline, to jump up and down. I had a patient today say to me, oh, I got the rebounder, but it kind of, hurt my body, my back a little bit when I was jumping up and down. And I said, well, you're not supposed to jump on it like a regular trampoline. And it's small and it's harder. And you're supposed to bend your knees and just slightly pulse up and down. And then, of course, the more advanced you can get, then the more movements that we can have. But really, you keep your feet onto the trampoline, knees bent, and you're pressing into the trampoline rather than pressing up. And I'll guarantee you that you'll start to pump the lymph system, and your cardio and your heart rate will go up. So a lot of times I'll go on the rebounders, I'll step off of the rebounder, and I'll do my squats and my lunges, and then I'll go back onto the rebounder. So I go back and forth like that, so I can get a little bit of HIIT training with that as well. Or if I have the exciser, I can go back and forth from the rebounder to the exciser, which is awesome too. But I would say weights training by far is going to be your greatest impact. I mean, Reena, we're losing, after the age of 35, 3% of our muscle tone every year after the age of 35. And then when you go into menopause and you don't have the testosterone, this is when we see a huge change in the texture of our skin and the integrity of our muscles.
Yes.
And so again, I don't know about everyone out there, but I know all women, really want to maintain their shape as much as possible, because we want to feel sexy, right? And so sexy is having nice curves, but, that are tight curves, not with, a little bit of this kind of lumpy, bumpy cellulite. And we're going to get rid of that.
Thank you for clarifying. I have a rebounder, and I thought you had to jump up and down. I actually jump up and down. So I'm going to try the pumping action instead starting tomorrow. So thank you for clarifying that for us. And for the rest of you, Liliana is going to be with us, answering and clarifying and helping us get our exercise on during the weight loss boot camp. So hope you're going to join. And if you're already part of the boot camp and watching this video, let us know if you have any questions at all. Tell us how it's going, and make sure you work out every day. Liliana, before we wrap up, how many minutes minimum do you want everyone working out during the 14 days?
Okay, so what I'd like is if you could start out, if you've never exercised, start out with a minimum of 20 minutes. But our goal would be a minimum of 30 minutes would be minimum if we can do that. And again, you don't have to do it all in one go. If you have 15 minutes to go for a walk at lunchtime, take advantage, take the stairs, walk to your car, and just, get your steps in as much as you possibly can. So again, sometimes, and always plan for the unexpected, like, oh gosh, I didn't get to do my exercise today. What can I do? And so again, you just say, how many minutes do I have? Well, all right, I've got 15 minutes. Let's do some squats, some lunges, some planks, boom, off I go. So we maintain that habitual pattern that gives us the endorphins that make us want to do it more often. So I'd say if we could exercise a minimum of 20 to 30 minutes a day would be awesome. And then really, honestly, an hour maximum. I don't think anybody needs to go further than an hour. And that's when you're doing some really good weights training along with a little bit of cardiovascular. I like cardiovascular exercise because it really supports removing the carbon dioxide. It, increases oxygen consumption, decreases blood pressure. So all of it has its benefits. It's just with cardiovascular exercise, like let's just say the treadmill, it's kind of like if you can walk and talk, you're adapting. So you're really not really going to create any oxygen debit or any kind of overload to force your body to use fat for fuel while you're sleeping to repair. So understand that the higher intensity that you do, the more testosterone you produce and the more human growth hormone you produce to keep you younger longer. And so I'd like to see people do weights training 2 to 3 times a week. And then in between that, whether they walk or they do the bicycle, I love the bicycle, especially spin bikes. That a lot of gyms just have them out on their main floor. And because you can do HIIT training really easy, you can stand up on them and go, 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 and then, turn it down and then go really super fast. So I would say weight training 2 to 3 days a week. And then the other days, some cardiovascular yoga. I love yoga. And it really will keep your posture, your chest open, your lower back, your breathing. It's just awesome. So if we could do 2 days of some sort of stretching and yoga, 3 days of weight training, and then the other days where we do cardiovascular, I think we're going to be on a winning streak.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Liliana. And for the rest of you, we're going to see you on the weight loss boot camp.